Put on a suit. Drink water. Don't drink and drive.
Game over!
Take it light. Okay.
Now you're more fluent.
He got free!
Up, Bears.
So this is really good right here. Absolutely. Let's do it.
All right. Welcome to the All American Hoops Podcast, episode 36. As I mentioned last week, it is the Marcus Smart episode, which to this day, even though the Celtics did win a championship, it still does feel really weird that Marcus Smart is off the team, who will forever be a favorite Celtic of mine. Not sure if I could think of anyone else who ever wore the number 36. It's quite a rare number. But yeah, as you guys, for those of you watching, today's Sunday, different from our usual Tuesday time. I do believe this will be replaying on Tuesday though. Wearing my Mets hats. John, Matt, and I will be going to the Mets game on Tuesday, so which is why we decided to push it up. But we're also very happy we pushed it up because John's back for the first time, and since episode 29, I checked. That was I believe it was 2-3 weeks after they won the finals. So yeah, very excited to have him on. We got a great show ahead of us. We're gonna be reviewing Team USA's victory over France from yesterday, achieving the golds. Speaking of the Olympics, we'll be doing a draft of both the Dream Team in 1992 and what LeBron called the Avengers team in 2024. So we'll be doing a draft of all 24 players there. So that'll be a lot of fun. And then to top it off, to finish it off, we will be doing not a draft. We will be ranking, all three of us will be ranking our top 10 shooting guards of the league. And we haven't seen each other's lists yet, but we got like a little bit of a sneak peek of each of ours, and there is some disagreements. So we're looking forward to some spirited discussions in the show today. This is the All American Hoops Podcast. Welcome to the show. As per usual, I'm joined by my younger brother, Matt Driscoll.
Chris, it's a pleasure. It feels a little different doing it on Sunday, and it feels pretty great having another member of the pod, another member of the Driscoll family back.
And I am also, as Matt said, we are also welcome back our older brother, John Driscoll.
Yes, AAH, Matt, it's a pleasure. Thank you for having me on. It's been too long. It's very, very good to be back.
Yeah, we're very happy to have you back on. We're hoping to make this more of a regular thing. Going back to normal soon. We have to discuss some details there as to how long we're gonna keep the Tuesday slot. But we'll see there. But for now, we're extremely excited to have you back on, and we're extremely excited for the show. We got an awesome show ahead of us. So, I guess we'll just jump right into it because we do have a lot to cover today. So last night, the men's basketball team USA achieved the gold medal in the tournaments after it was a pretty big up and down season from them. But at the end of the day, America comes on top as per usual. 2-0 in World Wars, and obviously I think 4-0 in the World War II. 4-0 in the past few Olympics as well. I think we tied with China this year for the gold medals, which is quite unfortunate, but we still got them beat in silver and bronze. So that's very much a good thing there. But this is a basketball show, so we'll stick to that. But John and Matt watched a little bit of the game yesterday. Yesterday was Matt's graduation party, so I was being a little more anti-social than they were. I was pretty locked in on the game while they were doing what you should do during a party. It was an awesome game. It was a lot closer than I thought it'd be. Like, I really thought that USA was going to pull away from France. I thought they would not so much that they learned their lesson from Serbia, because I really don't feel like that USA was playing around in this game. I feel like France just played an awesome game. John, do you have any takeaways on the game?
Yeah, I think the game and overall, it's been really exciting to watch, and we can discuss later on the negatives that we obviously have, or the problems that we had with it along the way. But at the end of the day, I mean, we've spent a lot of years kind of hating on LeBron James, and we spent a couple years hating on Steph Curry. And sometimes, when Durant went to the Warriors, us less than most, but we did kind of dislike that move a little bit. But it was really cool to be able to root for them, for a change, and also root for them together and watching them play together. I think there was forget what exactly it was, but there was a couple plays throughout this Olympics where it was LeBron to Durant to Curry, and that was just really really fun to watch. And I tried to enjoy it as much as I could because who knows how much longer, or if I doubt we'll ever get to see something like that again. But who knows how much longer we're going to get to watch them. But in terms of the game yesterday, I think what you saw was just them relying on those big three guys, LeBron, KD, and Steph, especially Steph towards the end. I think he 8 of 12 from 3 for 24 points. I mean, that's the most Steph Curry stat line ever. And when push came to shove, when they needed big buckets down the line, Steph got them, and it was really exciting and glad to see they took care of business.
Yeah, John, a lot of good points there. Like you said, like rooting for LeBron, we haven't done it much in our lives, but it's pretty cool because he is obviously a very good basketball player. Curry took 14 shots, 13 of them being threes yesterday. Watching him is just unbelievable. I just like to take this time to shout out a Celtic legend, Gershon Yabusele, balled this Olympics. I believe he led France in scoring yesterday.
Probably. Yeah.
No, he didn't. Sorry, Wemby did with 26.
Okay.
Yabu had 20 though.
Wemby had 26. Like I didn't realize there was that much. But yeah.
Yeah, and Yabu also had a poster on LeBron.
No, he didn't.
Highlight.
No, he didn't. SUVs outside of our house.
Yeah. And yeah, I forgot what the tweet said. Like it's like it would be the most American thing ever, just for someone to like post like someone from another country dunking over LeBron to spread the hate agenda. Yeah, Skip Bayless doesn't have the platform to do that anymore, but but not as much. No, speaking of Steph, like. And it's I find that comparing Olympic games to like regular NBA games or even regular regular season college games, in season tournament games are pretty tough to measure on a scale because a lot of it is like apples and oranges. But I feel like I haven't seen a game like a player like a takeover like I had yesterday from Steph. Like he just said, "Give me the ball and let me go to work," which is exactly what he did. He just took the ball at the top of the key, just like a shot fake, like a couple good handles, just nailed four threes, not all the more in a row, but like just 4 threes in the fourth, unbelievable. And yeah, and I know it's 24 points isn't a ton, even though it's in a shortened game. So if you want to rate it to scale, like it's like 32 points, which is a great game, but it's not it's not necessarily a like an all-time great game, but just like as far as goes for takeover in the fourth quarter. It was nothing like I've ever seen before. Like he just totally took over. Like he was the best player in a game that had LeBron and KD, which was absolutely insane. And I guess we'll talk. Yeah, and John. Yeah, as John mentioned, we'll touch on the negative aspect of it because this is even we like to remain. We try to remain unbiased in the show, but however, when we see one of our when we see one of the players that we're a huge fan of, Jason Tatum, get disrespected the entire Olympics. And it's not that he didn't play, and it's not necessarily that he just didn't play against Serbia and that he played very little yesterday. It's more so the discourse around him, like the discourse around him since all that happens, and like the way that people talk about him and the way that people talk about his family, it's just unbelievable. Like, and we can go over like what exactly some people are saying, but yeah, Matt, what are your thoughts on the whole Jason Tatum situation?
Yeah, people on Twitter are acting like Jason Tatum is just some like glorified role player that like he stinks because he had an inefficient finals, even though Jason Tatum's true shooting percentage this playoffs was higher than Jalen Brunson's this playoffs, but I digress. He is a like certified top 5 player in the league. Like I don't know what else the man can do. He is like a great. He's the best player on the Celtics, so obviously he's going to get some hate. But like besides Embiid, like I think he's the most hated player in the NBA right now, and Embiid deserves hate. Embiid pisses down his leg every playoffs. He did play well this Olympics. Like he did end up figuring it out. He only played 11 minutes yesterday. Was getting cooked by Wemby, but he did. I did think it was hilarious when he was egging the crowd on to boo him when he was getting the gold medal. Like even rooting for Embiid felt so weird too.
Yeah.
But yeah, the disrespect to Jason Tatum has gotten out of hand. Like Steve Kerr, he literally just had a newborn, and like they flew out to Paris just to see him sit against Serbia twice and play 11 minutes yesterday. It's frustrating. I don't get it. Devin Booker did play well this Olympics, but he should not be playing over Jason Tatum. I don't understand it. Kerr was like, it's like a math problem. That's why I wasn't playing. What math formula are you using to not get a 6'10 wing in the game? A 6'10 elite two-way player in the game? But I digress.
Yeah, man, I think you hit a lot of great points, and I agree. It's absolutely ridiculous. He's the only person on this roster that made a first-team All-NBA this year, and he's made them 3 years in a row. And then before that, he won the gold medal with a far better coach in Greg Popovich as the number 2 option with Kevin Durant. Now, you can argue that the teams are obviously better now, but so is Team USA. And if you can there's more of an argument to have him, like I just don't understand. I'm looking at the roster right now and just looking at minutes and points and everything, like all the breakdown. And you start to pick out guys that were getting burned over him, and it's not like it's almost a positionless kind of roster in a sense, with the exception of like AD and Embiid, like all these guys are like big wings or like oversized guards that can play on the wing, so it's not like, oh, what are you going to play him over LeBron and KD? First of all, yeah. Second of all, it doesn't have to be like that. All you have to do, like, Ant Edwards is a great, fun, upcoming superstar. He's not Jason Tatum. He pissed down his leg a bunch of times in the playoffs. Where's the energy for him? Like you said, Matt, Devin Booker had a pretty good Olympics. He is not on Jason Tatum's level. You want to say he's like an improved defender now? Great. Yeah, he's okay. He's good at guarding guards. He's also 6'4", and you saw against like South Sudan, he got put in a blender. He's not a guy who you think of defense wise. And we love Drew Holiday and Derek White. And I thought Drew and Derek were both, especially Drew, I thought was pretty excellent.
Drew was awesome. Yeah.
He's just and you see how valuable he can be. And I think like him being on the Celtics is going to extend his career because he's not required to be like the number 2 scoring option and like the number 1 shooting option, with the exception of Chris Middleton on the Bucks. But he's, when you can give with Drew Holiday, and I'm going on a tangent with the Celtics right now, but like when you saw on the Olympics, this roster, when you can say, yeah, we just really need you to take threes and like maybe like, play make a little bit on offense, but like you're not going to be the main focal point, and then just let him like throw all of his energy at defense. Like he's so valuable. But back to Jason Tatum, it's like there are so many guys I look at and I'm like, with the exception of like Embiid and Anthony Davis, like, because that's like a different, like they have a different like role. Like I don't understand why he is like the guy that's like left out, and it doesn't make sense. And one more thing, if anybody else says Tatum should take this the way Tyrese Halliburton does, Tyrese Halliburton shouldn't be on this roster, and he's like 3 tiers below Jason Tatum. Another fun upcoming player.
Yep.
Had a great playoff run, but both sides of the ball, Tatum clears so hard, and it's, so I don't want to hear that.
Jason Tatum is at worst the 8th best player in the league. At worst, I think he's the 4th best player in the league. I think if you want to make the argument for LeBron and KD and Steph, I think Tatum's better than all 3 of those guys. But if you want to use these, Olympics as an indictment on Tatum, go right ahead. Be my guest. But if you're going to use Tatum playing a smaller role, which Tatum has been starting his entire career, he only knows how to be like the first, second, third option.
He started his entire life. Like, has he ever?
Mm-hmm.
First of all, this is probably the first time he's ever come off the bench, let alone not played in a game.
Absolutely, yeah. Mm-hmm. So, like the whole, and Tyrese Halliburton. I think I'm going to release my top 100 in a couple weeks, but I think I had Halliburton in like I probably had him like it was like the mid-20s, probably, I think. But and I think at best, I think Halliburton is like at best a top 20 player at best. So Tatum is a whole 12 spots above him at the best case scenario. And Tatum has accomplished so much more. That is the most BS situation ever. But anyway, I'm going to read I'm going to read the quote that friend of the podcast Noah Dazell tweeted yesterday. She said, interesting to hear Jason Tatum reflect on the Olympic experience for the first time. This is Tatum word for word. And I want you guys to tell me where he slipped up or where you think that he was clearly in a pissy mood when he said that. It was a tough personal experience on the court, but I'm not going to make any decisions off emotions, Tatum said. If you ask me right now if I was going to play in 2028, it is 4 years from now, and I would have to take time to think about it. So I'm not going to make any decisions based off how this experience was or how I feel individually. So Did he mention it? Did he? No. I know you guys read the tweet earlier, and you guys just heard me say it. Did you hear anything about him saying playing time? For all we know, Tatum could be talking about his performance on the court because he shot horribly. Like he didn't like according to Synergy, which Jason Sims keeps on talking about. You didn't make a single jump shots, but you're taking 16 jump shots in how many games was it? In 6 or 7 games? It's 9, right?
Well, he didn't play. Yeah, he didn't play 2 of them. So
who's that guy's name? Jason what?
Timph. He's the guy. He's the guy that
tampon. What is he? The Sixers fan?
No, he's a Lakers fan.
Uh-huh.
So yeah, and I'm pretty sure he's. I don't know if I think he said Mavs in 6 if I'm not mistaken. So
we also drafted Lonzo. So
yeah, that's true. So but what? Okay, and then one more thing. Yeah, speaking of Mavs, one of their writers said won a gold medal, man. Maybe just declined the comments. If anyone said if Jason Tatum said no comments, say he would come off as moody, would come off as him throwing a hissy fits. It's just the whole like there is nothing Jason Tatum can do to win over these fans, because I know for a fact that had he won Finals MVP, like they would have said he shouldn't have won Finals MVP. It would have been the most inefficient Finals MVP ever. There is nothing Jason Tatum can do to win over these fans. Even if Jason Tatum played fantastic these Olympics in his role, they would have found something. They would have said, "Oh, he's still not as good as LeBron and KD." It's a whole bunch of nonsense. There is no world where I'm just like if you're using this for upcoming next year, there is zero world where I'm taking LeBron or KD over Jason Tatum to build around for this year.
I think it's kind of ridiculous the hate he gets, given like there's not really much to hate on. Like with Embiid, like people hate on LeBron, some because he's great, obviously, but he's always talking about like other stuff. He's like pretending to read, there's like stuff like that bothers you. Or like Embiid's always like dry humping a crowd and then getting like pissing down his leg in the second round, like
the flops,
flops. That's like hateable. Tatum doesn't talk shit to anybody on the court. He doesn't disrespect anyone in the post. He's like the most he's been probably media trained since he was like 8 years old. Like he has never said anything wrong to the media, and you could say there are certain moments where he's like corny or whatever, but that's not really a reason to like hate on somebody. All he does is hoop. He goes home and hangs out with his son. So I don't really see or understand the hate besides just it might be like a LeBron thing. And maybe that's just a testament to how great he is, because it's like people just hate because of how great he is.
The only thing that I can think of besides the corny thing, which by the way, I don't know where this energy is with Jimmy Butler. Like if we're talking about who's more corny, like want to talk about trying to give a bunch of viral quotes and trying to show off his new hairdo in Media Day, which by the way, I don't know if that was him, but he's definitely going to come in bald. For Media Day this time around. And I guess the other thing is just him complaining. Tatum does complain to the refs a good amount, which, by the way, who doesn't? So if you're gonna if you're gonna use that against him, then I don't know what to tell you about.
What's with the whole thing? Like everybody's corny now. Like when did that start? Like it's the whole he doesn't have aura. By the way, if you're a grown man, you should not be talking about another man's aura. But I digress. And then everyone's corny now. Like people are calling Wemby corny for crying after he lost a gold medal game. Yeah, how old's Wemby? 20?
Yeah.
He's gonna be upset. He lost the gold medal game for his country. I don't understand that.
Kid.
Yeah, he's younger than I am. It's insane.
It's ridiculous. Is he younger than Aaron? I think he might be. They're both 20. So yeah, so they're the same age, which is ridiculous. All right. Yeah, but just real quick, I want you guys just to I'm gonna read down I did this off the top of my head, so of what I think the 2028 roster should be or maybe will be, and I didn't include Cooper Flag in this because I just don't know what to expect from him yet. But so as of now, I have 5 guards, 4 forwards, and 3 centers. So the 5 guards I have Ant, Booker, Halliburton, Donovan Mitchell, and John Morant. My 4 forwards I have Tatum, Brown, Paolo Banchero, and Scotty Barnes. And then my centers, I have AD, who might not play, Bam Adebayo, and Chet Holmgren. What do you guys anything to add or subtract?
I mean, yeah, I agree with that. I just don't think Tatum and Brown should play.
I hope so.
I hope they don't.
It would be very nice if they didn't play, because
you know what? Enjoy your 2028 championship and then take the summer off.
Enjoy your 3-peats or whatever it's going to be. I'm not going to speak to a distance of them winning 5 in a row or something like that, but that would be very cool if they did that. So okay, cool. Well, speaking of the great team and everything, so people have been comparing this to the 1992 Dream Team for a few months now. And the reporter asked LeBron James, "What's this considered? The Dream Team was 92. The Redeem Team was 2008. I don't know what 12 and 16 were, but what do you think this team is?" He said the Avengers, which I don't know about you guys. I love that that aspect because you exactly what you put the best players ever. It would have been pretty cool if they did that in 2012 actually, because that's when the Avengers came out. But only reason I know that because we went to see them on my birthday. But so that would have been my 13th birthday, I think. So yeah. Okay, so yeah, we're gonna do a draft of every single player between both the 92 and the 2024 team. So that it's 24 players. It's gonna be 8 players each. As long as you guys don't have any objections, I think we're gonna do oldest to youngest for this one. Welcome John back into back onto the show, given the first overall pick. And I know Matt goes likes going back to back, so we'll do that. That's okay with you guys?
Yeah, that sounds good.
Yeah, and we are doing this based on who these players were in their prime, not who they were at the time. Just because, like we could have done research for how great they were in '92, but it's still pretty subjective as to when they were at their best and everything. So we'll do that.
Oh, so we're doing prime.
Did you want to do all time? Like just
no, I was just wondering. That's why I was.
Yeah, we're doing prime. Yeah,
cool. So I had the first overall pick.
Yes, sir.
Well, I think it'd be foolish. I mean, yeah, because it's one of those things where if you were to do this draft based on like Olympic performance, like I feel like I've read a little bit that Michael Jordan wasn't exactly like Michael Jordan in the Olympics, which is fine. But if we're going off of prime, I'm going to be picking Michael Jordan.
Yep, that's the right pick. So that's the first 92 player off the board. So same here on my end. LeBron was slightly better than Jordan in the Olympics. I think he's a slightly worse NBA player. So he will be my second overall pick.
Yeah, 2 shocking picks from you two. So with the third overall pick, I'm just looking at the 1992 team, making sure I'm not forgetting anybody. I'm going to make our father happy and take Larry Legend. Then he is either going to play my 3 or 4, depending on how the draft falls out. But if it's based on prime, it's based on prime. I'm gonna take who I think the greatest point guard of all time is, Magic Johnson.
That's the right pick, you two. 4 out of the top 5 players of all time, in my opinion. And you could argue, I'm only going to argue. I actually think that those are the 4 greatest peaks of all time. Where's it? Oh, Bert. Okay, so yeah, I was crossing it right now. Okay. Yeah, this one's pretty easy to me. I'm going to continue the trends for me of going with current day players. I'm going to select. I'm very happy we got to see them play together. I'm going to go with Steph Curry.
Of course, I'm going to go with Derek White. No, I'm just kidding.
Wouldn't have been an awful pick, honestly.
Actually, it wouldn't be. But I mean, yeah, it would be. But
yeah. They're guys that could fill that void.
Yeah, a couple. It's interesting. I think with this pick, I could go with either current or 92 players that are pretty on a similar, length. But I'm going to go with someone who I thought played really well this year, in Kevin Durant.
Yep. And you got one more?
Shit. Very tough. Again, it's like one of those things going off of prime. If we're going off prime, I'm going to go with Karl Malone.
It's tough to argue against that one. Okay. I'm running through my all-time list in my head now as to what the next one would be, but I know I shouldn't do it solely based off that, even though it would be pretty good. I think for this one, I'm going to go with add some size to my roster. I'm going to go with David Robinson. Admiral.
The Admiral.
That's the Admiral.
Is it
All right.
95 MVP?
I believe so. Yeah, defensive
So
player
I
of the year
have-
as well. Yeah.
I have Magic and Bird, so I have a point guard and a either 3 or 4. So I'm either gonna go big or a shooting guard.
We got 2 picks.
Yeah. I am going to go with Charles Barkley. Put him at
Good.
the 4, and then with, you know what? Screw it. I'm taking Jason Tatum.
Damn it. That would have been my next pick.
Yeah, I got some size on my team.
What was
Yeah,
that?
I got some size on my team.
You do. Holy shit.
Wait,
Yeah.
wait, so you're saying that Jason Tatum can play a different position other than small
Yeah,
forward?
the 6'10" versatile elite two-way player can play more than 2. Well, I don't know if he's going to get minutes on my team. You know, it might be a math problem. I might have to play.
That's true.
Hopefully, Devin Booker falls to me. Maybe I can play him over him.
Or if you want some quick turnovers, you can throw Ant in there too.
Oh yeah, his dog.
Yeah. Yeah. Let's see. So I got a guard. I covered the main ones. I don't know, do I go with the playmaker? Do I go with another stretch four or something like that? Not even stretch four. It could be. Yeah, I'm gonna add another power forward. I'm gonna add LeBron's teammate Anthony Davis.
You picked Ant Davis?
Yeah.
Now here's where I come into a problem where do I just pick the best player available or do I go for team need?
Mm-hmm.
So you know what? I have 3 big scores. I got MJ, I got KD, and I got Karl Malone. I need a guy who's not going to take shots, who's going to play every game and facilitate, and that's John Stockton.
Mr. 82.
I don't know, guys. NBA TikTok keeps telling me how John Stockton was only a good player because of Karl Malone, and then all his passes were just dump ups to Karl Malone. Where because apparently they watched every single one of John Stockton's games and totally didn't cherry pick some of his film to look to only downgrade him.
John, sorry, I didn't mean to cut you off, but I totally thought John was going to take Derek White when he said play every game and facilitate.
Yeah, you got one more.
I got one more. Okay.
You also got team chemistry there with Stockton Malone, so that's good.
Right.
Yeah.
So I'm going to take. I need a. So I know this guy played power forward and center a little bit, and I could take the modern day big man right now in Joel Embiid, but I think aside from that Serbia game, Joel Embiid was pretty underwhelming this Olympics because over in Europe they don't really like all the flopping and the bullshit. So instead of Joel Embiid, I'm going to be taking Pat Ewing.
Great one.
Do not look at his finals field goal percentage.
And, I'll text Dean after this. I'll find out. He should know.
Damn. This is where it gets tough because we're like entering like the separate tier of guys because all these guys are not all. I shouldn't say all. Most of these guys are all time greats, so it's tough to call anything a bad pick. Could use some shooting. Could use some more perimeter defense. You know what? I think this guy is clearly the best player remaining, and I understand why he's falling pretty hard because of fit and everything. But yeah, I'm going to go with Scottie Pippen.
Yeah,
Nice.
it started in '92.
That's right.
You took Pippen, Chris. That was very good. All right, so I get 2 right now.
Yeah.
All right, so I need a center and I need a shooting guard. So for my shooting guard pick, I'm going to take Clyde the Glide.
Very good.
And then for my big man pick, Sorry, is AD still on the board?
He's not.
No.
He's not.
No, I took him. Yeah.
You took him. That's what I thought. All right. So I took Clyde. I was between AD and Embiid, thinking AD was still on the board, so I'm just going to go with Embiid.
Okay. So we got big men diff. Not big men diff. We just got a pretty solid. This is a really, really tough one. You know what? Yeah, I'm gonna go with I'm gonna go with another playmaker off the bench. I'm gonna go with the guy who can shoot. Definitely. If we're as far as goes for ranking, he's probably a little bit lower than this, but I'm gonna take Drew Holiday.
That's what I was going to take.
Yeah.
I need shooting. Okay, so similar to Chris, I do have, MJ and KD, but I also have Malone, Ewing, and Stockton, so I do need some shooting off the bench, and I also need a guy that's not going to be ball dominant off the bench, so that takes out Shot Chucker Ant, and I'm going to be taking Derek White as my guard off the bench.
That's really not a bad pick. Like people are gonna watch this and cringe, but like that's not. Yeah, that's
cringe away. I have Derek White.
Yeah.
And then I am kind of big, but I do think that it'd be valuable to have another big man off the bench. I'm going to be taking very versatile defender Bam Adebayo.
Damn it. Okay. So for context for the audience, still haven't figured out how to, or don't know how to do it, but I know the internet will crash out, how to screen share while doing this roster. So we do have three remaining 2024 players. We got Devin Booker, Tyrese Halliburton, and Anthony Edwards. And then we have from the 92 team, we have Christian Laettner and Chris Mullin. So, got a good playmaker in Drew and LeBron for that matter. Do you go with size or wing maybe? I'm going to go with the wing. I'm going to go with another wing. Plays both ends of the floor. I'm going to go with Anthony Edwards despite playing pretty poorly this Olympics.
That's a good pick. All right. So on my bench, I have Clyde. I was crossing off everybody as they were going, and MJ was still on my board. I'm like, how did I not cross off MJ? All right. Bam was taken too. All right. I'm gonna take a St. John's legend here. One of the best shooters of all time, 50, 40, 90 club member, Chris Mullin.
Great pick.
I love how every pick I'm like, great pick. Like, yeah, they're almost all Hall of Famers. Oh, sorry, I have two. I keep forgetting.
You're good.
Is Devin Booker still on the board?
Devin Booker's still on the board?
Yeah, all right. I'll take Booker.
That's the one, yeah. Surprised we fell that far.
Yeah, we're definitely still not better about Booker getting minutes over Tatum, despite him playing pretty well in the Olympics.
Yeah, he played well this Olympics. You got to give credit when it's due.
Yeah, for sure. And then these guys were pretty clearly the bottom guys on each of their rosters. Both Halliburton and Christian Laettner. Haven't done much research on Christian Laettner outside of college, to be honest with you. He did make the All-Star game once in 1997, so this is prior to. Obviously, yeah, he was still in college. I have mostly current day guys, so I will take Christian Laettner with my last pick. which means that John which means Tyler Tablin would be the last man on John's team.
Which I'm excited about. I needed another, I guess, facilitator off the bench.
Yep.
Not a poor shooter either. So, all right.
So I will give you guys a few seconds to organize your roster into positions so we can see how good our team is built. So I'll go first. I'll give you guys time to do so. So at my point guard, I have Steph Curry. At my 2 guard, probably. I might start Drew Holiday. I'm going to start Drew Holiday on the team. I'm going to put him at the 2 guard. I'll put LeBron at the 3. I'll put AD at the 4. David Robinson at the 5, and then Scottie Pippen as the 6th man. Anthony Edwards as the 7th man, and then Christian Laettner as the 8th man.
All right. So I got John Stockton starting at the 1, Michael Jordan at the 2, Kevin Durant at the 3, Karl Malone at the 4, Pat Ewing at the 5, and then off the bench, Derek White, Bam, and Halliburton. All modern players off my bench.
Not starting Derek White is a crime, but I will go. I have a pretty tall team. Magic Johnson at the 1. I am putting Tatum at the 2. Larry Bird at the 3, Barkley at the 4, and Embiid at the 5. And on my bench, I have Clyde, Devin Booker, and Chris Mullin.
Very nice. Kind of feel icky if I do feel a little uncomfortable starting Drew Holiday over Scottie Pippen. So I don't know how. Yeah. I feel like that's a pretty bad move, but I don't know. I don't know how poorly of a shooter Scottie Pippen was again, or how good he would be today. So pretty tough to determine. But I guess we really shouldn't care about shooting too much when you have Steph Curry. But and it's not like LeBron and AD are bad from 3 either. So yeah, nothing too much to claim about there. Okay, so I don't know who has the best team, honestly. I feel like for the most part, it's pretty split. Star power, all of us are pretty even. Chemistry wise, it's pretty even as well. Like size is a massive concern off my bench, especially again. And I feel like in that case, you might have to put Scotty off the bench, but I don't know. John, your team's pretty well balanced. I'd say shooting is your only issue, and then Matt's. Your team doesn't have much. Yeah, your team doesn't really have much of an issue anyway. I feel like so. I really don't know. I don't know what you guys think.
Yeah, Tatum at the 2 is definitely a little wonky, but I feel like that's a good problem to have, having a 6'10" shooting guard.
Cool. Okay, so do you guys want to So I'm either going to go first or go last with my top 10 shooting guards lists. Do you guys want to save you yelling at me for the end, or do you want to yell at me and then give your list? What do you guys want to do? Do you guys want to give your list first, then yell at me at the end? I feel like that's probably the best way to go.
Yeah, I'll yell at you at the end.
Okay, sounds good. Okay, so okay, John, you went first in the draft. Matt, do you want to give your list first?
Yeah, sure. I'll give my list first. All right, are we going 10 to 1?
We are going 10 to 1.
Okay. So shooting guards is kind of like a very top-heavy position. I feel like closer to the end, like with when we did our point guard list, I feel like even like the 10th point guard, I think mine was Drew Holiday. I was like, wow, like still a very elite player. But with these, it kind of like falls off a cliff. With 10, I was between 3 guys between like 9, 10, and 11. But with 10, I decided to go with recent Thunder member Alex Caruso, one of the best perimeter defenders in the game. Number 9, I went with the new Pelicans member, DeJounte Murray, who I thought was better than he is. Maybe he'll prove it this year, but he was higher on my list. Are we saying DeJounte Murray is a shooting guard or a point guard?
I'd have him as a point, but however, I don't know what the Pelicans are going to do. I'm fine with you putting him at the 2 guard, though.
All right, if he's a point guard, I'm going to move Caruso to 9 and put Jalen Green at 10.
Okay,
but if
sounds good.
Murray is a shooting guard, I'll slot him in at 9. 8, I have new Knicks member, Mikal Bridges. At number 7, I have somebody on Chris Driscoll's Grizzlies agenda this year, Desmond Bane. Gets better every year. Very, very underrated player, in my opinion. At number 6, I have somebody who is a playoff dropper. People talk like he's some playoff riser, but he's still 6 on my list, Kyrie Irving. At 5, I have another elite two-way player who was just drafted in our draft, Derek White. At 4, I have a massive Mets fan and Donovan Mitchell. At 3, I have Devin Booker, 2, Anthony Edwards, and 1, the best shooting guard in the league, elite two-way player, Conference Finals MVP, Finals MVP, Jaylen Brown.
Okay. Okay, so I'm trying to think. Yeah, I should have thought this up beforehand, but you know what? I think that John, you give you a list, and then actually, yeah, I guess we can just critique. Like, we'll give like one thought each. Me and you can give one thought each for each of them. Just so we can remember each other's lists. But yeah, obviously, yeah, we're gonna have a discussion about that. But I do think that Donovan Mitchell is way too low. I think that he's much better than Devin Booker at this point in his career. Booker was better last year, but I think that Mitchell had a much better season this year. And as a number one, I substantially trust Mitchell more. But I'm willing to. We can debate that in a second. John, any takeaways on the list?
Yeah, I think just overall, it's tough because there are so many guys in the league that you can say are a shooting guard or are a small forward or are a point guard. So like guys like Zach LaVine, I know he's like a shooting guard, but where's him or like even like Bradley Beal, like he has a different role even though he stinks. But like
exactly,
no, I get what you're saying though.
But yeah, I think that's I don't really have an issue with the list overall. I think Caruso, I did not have on my list, but he was one of the guys that was like just left off. But like Caruso and like Marcus Smart were like two guys that like didn't make my list, but like were on the cusp, and you can make like the argument they're more important than like a DeJounte Murray who puts up better counting stats. But yeah, it's interesting.
Okay, so yeah, John, you can give your list now if you want.
Do you guys have Paul George as a shooting guard?
I did not have him as a shooting guard.
No, I have him as a 3. I saw on a couple lists he was a 2, but I think he's more of a small forward.
I'm pretty sure he's starting at the 3 this year, if I'm not mistaken. I'm pretty sure that Kelly Oubre is going to be the starting shooting guard for the Sixers. I think, if I'm not mistaken.
Okay, let me just edit this real quick.
Okay.
Okay, so at 10, I had Marcus Smart. At 9, I had DeJounte Murray. 8, Mikal Bridges. That's another guy who probably played like more of a 3 role in the past.
Right, exactly, yeah.
Desmond Bane, who I think is an incredibly underrated, and I'm going to keep going on tangents here, but James Harden, again, like point guard, shooting guard. I had Desmond Bane at 7. I think he's really, really underrated. I think he had a poor playoffs though, if I'm not mistaken.
The Grizzlies didn't make the playoffs this year. So maybe
in the past, I'm saying.
Yeah,
a poor playoff performer.
I think you're right. Yeah,
6, I had Kyrie Irving. 5, I had just like Matt, Derek White. And then this is where it gets a little wonky. I have Devin Booker at 4. I put Ant Edwards above him just because he had. You can argue Ant Edwards had like a better supporting cast, but like Devin Booker's played with Kevin Durant and has had 0 playoff success. So like, I don't know. This is where it gets a little tough. It's like hit or miss. But Ant Edwards at the 3, Donovan Mitchell at 1, and the only person on this list with a Finals MVP and an Eastern Conference Finals MVP, one of the best. I think you could argue. You can best two-way player on this list, Jaylen Brown.
Okie doke. Okay, so I'm ready for you guys to lay into me, but you guys, I didn't realize that there were two issues with this list, but okay. So at 10, I do have Bradley Beal. He's one. He was playing in a really weird role last year. I think he's gonna be playing in I don't know what's gonna be this year, but the worst contracts in the league, in my opinion. That's including Ben Simmons. Number 9, I have Zach LaVine. He's going to be coming back from injury. The Bulls, I don't know what they're doing. But from a talent basis, you could argue that he's in the top 5-ish. 8, I have Desmond Bane. Very underrated again. 7, Mikal Bridges. Again, he's a 3 in the past, but that's still tough. 6, I do have Derek White. And 5, I have Kyrie Irving. As much as we love Derek White, I feel like he'd struggle in a role as a number 2 option. So, responsibility wise, I do think that Kyrie would flourish more as a number 2 role. At number 4, I have Jaylen Brown. At number 3, I have Devin Booker. At number 2, I have Anthony Edwards. And number 1, I have Donovan Mitchell. And this is for you guys. This is for the audience. Which we do. By the way, great showing today. It was very 17 people watching right now. I love Jaylen Brown. I stood up for him more than literally anyone on Twitter last year, and I fully stand by everything that I've said. And despite where I'm in my rankings, I was on the right side about Jaylen Brown. But as far as it goes for who would do better as a number 1 option, I don't believe that Jaylen Brown would do as good as a number 1 option as Devin Booker, Anthony Edwards, or Donovan Mitchell. So that's my I don't know where you guys want to lay into, which player you guys want to lay into me for, or if you just want to give your Jaylen Brown case. Either way, Matt, you seem to be more angry about this than John. So if you want to say what you want to say, go ahead.
Real quick, Devin Booker as the number 1 option won like 13 games with the Suns. By the way, I'm just throwing that out there.
Who's the second best? Who's the second best player? Kelly Oubre.
He was the number 1 option.
Who was the second best player? Okay.
No, it was the small guy.
DeAndre Ayton. He was only there for a year or two. But yeah.
I'm gonna be careful with what I say because clearly Donovan Mitchell's family has something against you for you to have him number 1 still. You say he's a better playoff performer than Jaylen Brown. How is he a better playoff performer than Jaylen Brown if Jaylen Brown has a Finals MVP and a Conference Finals MVP? Donovan Mitchell is the reason the Cavs lost in the first round last year, and he did beat the Orlando Magic, who we are a fan of. But the Orlando Magic clearly, if they won one playoff series, like last year for the Magic was a massive success making the playoffs.
That's right.
The Cavs, and I'm a huge Donovan Mitchell fan, but he played 55 games in the regular season last year and got hurt again in the playoffs. I don't know if you can rely on him. His counting stats were great, blah blah blah, but it's very hypothetical driven to be like, oh, Jaylen Brown as a number 1 option wouldn't be better. I don't maybe I don't know, in his role, who would you rather have on your team? I would rather have Jaylen Brown. And sorry, who'd you have at 3?
Booker.
I think it's fair to put Devin Booker. To have Donovan Mitchell ahead of Devin Booker. I don't have it, but I think that's fair. But like John said, Devin Booker, won 13 games as number 1 option. Those Suns teams stunk. His numbers, I'm sure, were fine, but Devin Booker has had more playoff success than Donovan Mitchell. He was awesome in the finals in 2022. 2021. Yeah, 2021. Yeah. And then with Anthony Edwards you have a 2, Chris?
I have Anthony Edwards as 2, and that's correct.
Yes, I agree with that. I think Anthony Edwards is an awesome up-and-coming player. My argument for Jaylen Brown over Anthony Edwards is that Anthony Edwards was very, Western Conference Finals. He shot 43%, which isn't great. But, he led his team in, all counting stats. The thing is, he was horrible in games 1 and 2. He was the reason why they lost game 2. And then game 3, when Luka hit the step back dagger over Gobert, he had a massive turnover to give the Mavs the ball back.
We were watching that together. Yeah, he made a lot of mistakes that night. Yeah.
And I think if this is a projection for 2024, I think it's totally valid to say at the end of this year, you could have Anthony Edwards over Jaylen Brown. I think that's totally fine. But at this point in time, I think Jaylen Brown, I would rather have Jaylen Brown on my team.
I think it's I have Ant Edwards at 3, and I have Donovan Mitchell over him. I think it's kind of cool that all of our top 4s are a little bit different.
Right.
I think that I might be more anti-biased towards Ant Edwards because everyone in the NBA community has tried to crown him the king of the league.
Yes. With
absolutely nothing accomplished. They say, oh, well, he made it to the Western Conference Finals at 22. Tatum did that in the East at 19. Jaylen Brown was 20, and he was practically a rookie that year. You can I know he wasn't, but he didn't play in the year before. He played he averaged 6 points a game. He probably played 12 minutes a game. With Donovan Mitchell, I have him behind Jaylen Brown. In 2022, he shot under 40% from the field in the playoffs with his last year in the Jazz. He shot 43 the year after that in Cleveland. He shot back up to 47 or 48 this year, but he only played 6 games. Oh no, he played 7 and then 10 game sample size or whatever. But again, he got hurt.
Yeah.
I think I'm definitely a little too hard on Devin Booker, but he's another guy that gets like a lot more slack than anybody on the Boston Celtics, Jaylen Brown included. Like somehow Jaylen Brown gets more like criticism than Devin Booker when Devin Booker's been paired up with like, yeah, Chris Paul was old, but like he was very, very important. And like, you know, I know we're not really a Chris Paul fan club here, but like he was very good on those teams.
Chris Paul finished higher in the MVP race than Devin Booker, which I'll be the first to tell you, like the MVP campaign for that season was a joke, but like the consensus take was Chris Paul was better than Devin Booker that year, even though I disagreed with it. Yeah, and you know, so he had like very good players around him, and now he's playing with Kevin Durant, who like. I mean, I know Kevin Durant really hasn't had much success outside of with Steph Curry, but like it feels like just by watching the games, Kevin Durant seems like a very easy superstar to play with. Yeah. Like he doesn't demand the ball. When he gets it, he'll get to his spot and make his shots. Like, and I'm not a fan of him at all. But like one thing Howard said on this podcast the other day, he said you can ask KD to do anything in the court. Like he'll just give him the ball and score. He'll facilitate if you need him to. He'll play defense if you need him to. Only thing you can ask him to do is lead. He's not a leader on your team, but he will do literally anything else. So, do you have anything else to say about any of those guys, John?
I mean, I feel like I talked a lot about like the other three guys, but you know, with Jaylen Brown, it is easy to just be like, he's won a finals MVP, he's won a finals, he's won an Eastern Conference Finals MVP. But just if you want to go in depth on like his actual play outside of his accolades, like Jaylen Brown is definitely a better defender than Donovan Mitchell, definitely a better defender than Devin Booker. And Edwards, you can make the argument. I think I'd take Jaylen Brown with his defense against Luka.
I think Jalen's a better defender than Anthony Edwards for sure.
Yeah, I think Ant Edwards is like, you know, a good defender, but again, it's probably like, you know, the media hyping up like a lot of his play as usual.
Right.
But like Jaylen Brown's defense and his willing to just like, and it's like, that's why like all defense NBA voting sucks, even though like Drew and Derek, like rightfully so, won. Like I thought Jaylen Brown, like he took it upon himself to go after and pick up their best player and like make his life like a living hell. I don't see Donovan Mitchell doing that. I certainly don't see Devin Booker doing that. And I could see doing that, but he didn't in the Western Conference Finals. So like,
yeah, he didn't.
So like Jaylen Brown, and again, here's another thing. Like Jaylen Brown last year was a 27 point per game scorer. This year, after getting paid, he could have very well said, I'm not sacrificing anything. I'm going to get up to 28, 29. Like I'm going to do that. Him and Tatum both sacrificed a lot to win a championship. Would Donovan Mitchell do that? Maybe. Would Devin Booker do that? No. Would Anthony Edwards do that? No. Like, I think speaking upon sacrificing your stats to win is something that Jaylen Brown has, like, clearly over those other three guys.
All those things are true. But like sacrifice can only go so far away because like he's like my and you know how much it pains me to do this, just because like you know how much I love Jaylen Brown and everything. So, you can call it like if he's going to sacrifice so much, then he should be a little more efficient. He I think I just pulled it up earlier. I think based on true shooting, in the playoffs, which I know this is not my agenda, but Donovan Mitchell was actually the worst one. But again, he was being double teamed more than anyone here, probably. Not probably, definitely, because he was the only shot creator there. The order went Devin Booker 66%, but then again, that's a very small sample size 4-game series. But for regular season,
he got his change snatched by a 22 rule.
Yeah, mm-hmm. And then for regular season, it was Booker 1, 61%, then Donovan Mitchell 2, 59.5%, then Jalen 58%, then Ant 57.5%. So it's tough to argue any one. Because sacrifice is kind of like an intangible method, which intangible wise, I'm definitely taking Jalen over all these guys. I mean, like if we're factoring in leadership, which I think you should, but I don't know, like because and I know that we kind of like scoff at this argument for Tatum, but Jalen really is in a fantastic situation, and part of that is because of him. We could talk about Booker's situation, but at the end of the day, he's with a not so great of a coach. I kind of take it back. Actually, I don't think Frank Vogel is a bad coach, but the roster outside of KD is pretty brutal and like no size depth, no depth in general. Donovan Mitchell, Jared Allen and Mobley are getting better, but they're still pretty young. Or Mobley's pretty young. He's kind of aging a little more. Darius Garland played awful last year. So maybe yep. So I don't know who the capture hired as the new coach because Biggerstaff just got fired. I forgot who it was, but I'll look that up in a second. But but I don't know. And then Ant, I'm a lot more critical of Ant just because Ant is in an awesome situation, by the way. Chris Finch is an awesome head coach. They, in addition to Finch, he also has an awesome coaching staff as well, kind of like Missoula. We love Missoula, but he also had a much better season in part because he surrounded himself with great pieces as well. And also Ant has some awesome defense around him to where Ant is a good defender, but he only really has to worry about stuff on the offensive end. So, damn.
Well, that's why I had Donovan Mitchell at 2, just because I think out of those 4, arguably with Booker, but I think Donovan Mitchell is in the worst situation.
Yes,
because like maybe you could argue Donovan Mitchell has a better core than Devin Booker, but Devin Booker's with Kevin Durant. Like,
yeah. Mm-hmm. Yeah, it's tough for sure. And it did pain me to say it. But I don't know. At the end of the day, like the other 3 guys are solidified number one. Booker's not number one option though. So I don't. Yes. So Ant and Bont Mitchell are definitely number one options.
It is Booker's team though. Like Kevin Durant might be like this number one scoring option, but it is Devin Booker's team.
It is for sure. And then. But also Jaylen Brown is the emotional leader on the team. Like, like as much as people say it's Tim's the face of the franchise. If you ask anyone, I feel like if you ask anyone in the clubhouse, they would tell you that Jaylen Brown was the leader on the team this year. So,
I think that's why I think Jaylen Brown and Jason Tatum are such a great duo because I think they're both great leaders, but in their own ways. Like Jaylen Brown is a vocal leader. Jason Tatum is I'm going to do everything right and do it the way I do, which is cool. Right. But Jaylen Brown, like when the going got tough, and you could like Al Horford, Drew Holiday, those guys are good leaders too. Yeah. But when the going got tough, like Jaylen Brown dug in and like regrouped everyone. Yeah. And I think that's it goes unmentioned, but obviously we're biased putting Jaylen Brown 1, but it's close enough to where there's definitely an argument to be made.
There is for sure. Yeah.
And, I think and it kind of sucks that like the NBA, the discourse around it is not like, oh, how great Jaylen Brown was. He could definitely be a number one option on a team. It's Jaylen Brown was so great. That must mean Jason Tatum sucks. Like,
exactly.
No, not that. Why don't we just enjoy this guy was good.
Jaylen Brown was good. And what people don't understand, this was one of the best teams of all time. In order for this to be one of the best teams of all time, everyone had to do their part and play great. Jason Tatum and Jaylen Brown both played awesome. Like maybe not so awesome in the finals, but they did their jobs as the number 1, 2 option, and everyone else did their part as well. That's why they were so amazing all season long.
I was wondering if Matt was going to be as mad at Jaylen Brown at 4 as he was at not being included in the McDonald's run last night.
For those watching, I was outside and we talked about going to McDonald's, and all of a sudden I see somebody throw a McDonald's bag in the garbage. I was devastated, to say the least. Less devastated than having the finals MVP and conference finals MVP at 4.
Matt lets out the part that he had 7 other friends in his backyard there, so we didn't want to feel bad.
2 at the time. There were 2 other friends at the time.
2 at the time. Okay, yeah, that we weren't aware of actually.
It was a good like viewpoint as to our relationship because Matt came in. He was like, "What the hell?" He's like looking to argue, and he looks over at at me and Chris. I'm like, "Shut up, go outside." I was like, "We got McDonald's, go order it yourself." And you went outside, and then you kept yelling at Chris, and Chris was just like sitting on the couch, not saying anything.
I was in no mood.
Chris didn't even respond.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah, that feels like a great place to end the show. John, thanks so much. It was great to have you back on. We're really hoping to make this a regular thing very soon. Yeah, but we've been working really hard at your new job. I'm very happy about that.
Great to be back. Yeah. This is probably the number one thing I've missed the most about the new job.
Easily.
New job's going well, but Tuesdays have been a little more empty. Not being able to talk hoops.
I'm sure. Yeah. We're very excited for you to come back on soon enough, though. Matt, it's always a pleasure to have you on. We're going to see each other again in 5 seconds, but we're very much looking forward to the Mets game on Tuesday. So we're very happy about that. But all in all, thanks very much to everyone else for tuning in to the show. I'm Chris Driscoll, and hope everyone else has an awesome day.